Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Joy Asonye Live this beautiful evening. Well, my name is Joy Asonye, and today I like to call it the inauguration edition of the program. Today, Nigeria, the most populous black nation in the world, has inaugurated the winner of the February 25th presidential election, the former governor of Lagos State, Bola. Tinubu, that's Asiwaju Ahmed Bola. He today, the 71-year-old, takes office 2 months after being declared winner of the keenly contested elections, the 25th presidential election. Tinubu becomes the 5th democratic elected governor, president rather, in the 4th Republic. Tinubu and his vice, Kashim Shettima, take their place in history. His swearing in as the president and commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria brings to an end the 8-year administration of Muhammadu Buhari. We'll be discussing that, and especially as he's being sworn in, the promises and expectations of Nigeria. We'll be discussing that in today's edition of Joy Asonye. And I have in the studio to do all of this Steve Okwori. He's a security, safety, and crime management consultant. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Yeah, always a pleasure to be here.
Yes, I also have Comrade Alamboye, the National Coordinator of Green Assembly Initiative and the National Secretary, Nigerian Youth Organization. Thank you, gentlemen.
It's a pleasure having me here, Angela. Happy inauguration, Nigeria Inaugurations Day.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm almost not getting my introduction right. That's how excited I am. I've been waiting for the new administration, but gentlemen, I like to call it the inauguration edition.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'll start with you. Was it necessary to have all the security checks in the FCT? Many parts of the city was cordoned off, and people were not allowed to even pass through there. In fact, there were some parts where I thought, this is so far away from Eagle Square. Was it necessary stopping us from passing that? But in your words, was it necessary?
Yeah, if you ask me, I think it's necessary. This is not the first time we see our roads being they're blocked or cordoned off from people that are not actually invited to attend such an event. It happens that the Eagle Square is in the center of the city, and a lot of roads pass through the Eagle Square. So this there's a reason for the security agencies to see how to avoid certain things that are supposed not to happen.
Okay.
In this last elections, a lot of protests, a lot of people, especially from the opposition, were aggrieved. They are not happy with the outcome of the election. So to see how to forestall any possible occurrence of any attack or incident coming from anywhere, I think is the right thing to do. But we're above that. It has been a normal practice that when events like that happen, places like that are supposed to be taken care of.
Okay, so Comrade Duke, would you agree with him? Is it against people who had dissenting voices, or more of people who would have loved to be part of the event?
Well, in developed countries, you'll see a day like this is supposed to be celebrated. It's the day the nation is moving into a new administration, a new life is given to Nigeria. It's a day people should be allowed to come out en masse to celebrate this day. In fact, we wanted to see colors in the cities of Abuja, but because of the technicalities and irregularities in our electoral process, we begin to stifle every time this sweet occasion the country is supposed to have. It is not supposed to be an occasion that is supposed to be manned by military men here and there. It's a day to celebrate new phase of democracy, for goodness sake. So I think the activity around security, tight security in these programs, is emanating out of the irregularities and the post grievances in elections. So this is not too good for the purpose of celebration. However, I want to agree with him the other side of the coin to say, of course, there were so many insinuations, so many threats. We saw the DSS came out with so many forecast of coming to attack plans to attack and undo the process. So, as a nation, it is their duty to safeguard such an important program. For instance, the one that even is going to have foreign dignitaries attend, the one that is going to have the attention of Africa. We are leading Africans. Africans will be focusing on what is happening to see emulate the world. Again, today we'll be focusing, most especially the believers of democracy who want to see how free and fair the transition had gone. So, in that aspect, I want to agree with him. But I think we should do more. We should do more. We need to celebrate days like this, not to stifle and prevent people from coming. Today, we're supposed to expect all Nigerians coming out with green flags on the streets, enjoying, hoping and praying for a better, this administration that they're ushering in, it should be blessed. You know, this is what it's supposed to be, other than, you know, putting up very tight. It took me almost 2 hours to drive down to this to attend this program, and that is because almost everywhere is barricaded with military presence.
Traffic.
Yeah. Exactly. As a crime management consultant, I'm sure when he was talking, you had a certain reaction. However, he's probably right. Some of us would have loved to stand on the streets and wave our Nigerian flag as cars pass by. I mean, I remember such a time. So what would be your reaction? Do you think Nigeria will ever get to that point where we can do that without the fear of security attacks?
You see, patriotism in Nigeria, if you ask me, it has reduced drastically. You need to be a patriotic Nigerian for you to have that time to stand on the street and wave flags celebrating a new era that you have seen today. Even in the last installation of the Prince of the King of UK, there were also security presence in some of these locations, to the point that if you follow the event, protesters came. Some people were even arrested. So you cannot. Some of these incidents are unforeseen, you know. So, but you have to prepare yourself so that you are proactive. You know, when they relax what they need to do, and incidents like this happen, we Nigerians will begin to condemn it that they are only reactive. They are not proactive.
This is one of those times they have shown their proactivity.
There's need for them to do that,
right?
You know, because you don't see the intention of a man by men looking at his face. You know, so all these things they are inherent. When they come, do you think they come? Even right there, I saw some persons trying to see how to struggle, you know, find their way into, even the fact that they were not invited or they were, their own invitation had to put them at certain level. They try to see how to go beyond that level. So all these things are things that...
Isn't that patriotism to its highest order? Those are people who really want to be in the center of the entire action.
Exactly, but you have to cut your coat according to your size or your level, you know. But the fact of the matter is that I think we Nigerians need to be patriotic, you know. The fact that most of us even stayed at home and we're watching the events from television, you know. But it's important that going forward, there's a lot of things that the incoming government needs to do, you know, to need to build the confidence of Nigerians.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot that they need to do. They need to unify us. There's a lot of division amongst us, you know, and all that try to see how to downplay the level we need to be patriotic. Most of us are not proud of our country, you know. By this time, I expect that after all that display with flags on the streets and all that, we need to have these flags even hung on our cars as we drive for a period of time. We are celebrating, we should celebrate in our country. But are we seeing that, you know? So a lot of Nigerians, they have lost interest, if you ask me. So there's a lot that we need to do to build the interest of Nigeria, you know. And from what the incoming government have said, I listened to his speech, I've seen his manifesto, and there's a lot that he needs to do. It's not, manifestos are just written documents. It goes beyond that, you know. So he needs to do a lot in that document. And from what I've seen in that document, if they go
by what is written in that document
and they implement it, I think we will see some level of development, and a lot of things will take shape.
Okay, I would like you to maybe expand further. You talked about the document and how it would incite that patriotism that's necessary. What in the document gave you that confidence? I mean, is it the social investment plans that it's having? Is it the economic plans for Nigerian youth and women? I would like to know what makes you think, if implemented, would would bring young people and incite that unity?
Okay, now going by my profession, I will start from the area of security. I've seen where Amanahi wants to handle the insecurity issues. You know, in the area of kidnapping, for instance, you know, kidnappers, when they kidnap victims, they take them into forests. Most of them, they are kept in this forest that we see, and this forest happens to fall under ungoverned spaces. You know, now he has talked about establishing forest guards. You know, the way Amanahi wants to implement that is in another document entirely.
Wow.
He has talked about establishing anti-terrorism battalion. You know, don't forget that the immediate past president, in the area of terror, you can give him credit because terrorism has reduced drastically. You know, we from the level of number of attacks we used to have when he came on board in 2015, we used to have about 641 attacks that led to about 5,567 people that were killed as a result of terror-related incident. So just last year, from that 641 attacks, it reduced to 120. The number of deaths reduced to about 385. Before he became president, in Abuja here, where the seat of power, terror activities were all over here, bombings inside the city, around the suburbs and all that. All these reduced. There were certain roads that were not even passing in the city as a result of fear, you know. So he has said that he's going to improve on that. He has said he will establish anti-terrorism battalion. Yeah. Where he wants to work on that is in another document. In the area of poverty, he has emphasized on that. You know, poverty and insecurity, they go pari passu.
Exactly.
You know, so if poverty can be reduced drastically, then insecurity issues also will be reduced drastically. So there's a lot of things that he has done, and people that have worked with him, that know him well, when he was governor of Lagos, they said he's the kind of person that picks a square peg and fixes that square peg into a square hole. You know, so it goes to show that he goes after people that are capable of doing this job. So for me, I have this confidence that he will do a lot better than what we have experienced in the past. But let's just give him
the benefit of that. Comrade, do you share in his confidence?
Yeah. I will take again another slightly different approach. I would love to look at where we are coming from to where we're going. It's easier said than done. Yeah. You know, we see people that have not come to power tell us a whole lot of things. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and by the time they come into power, they begin to tell you that having gone through the treasury, everything the present brand new president have said depends on what financial situation the country is. They are not magical, they are practical things that are going to take place. Just 4 years. Now within 4 years, let's calculate where we are coming from. We are economically very down, financially very down, because we are indebted. The outgoing president also caused lots of indebtedness in the country. So we only pray for the grace. We don't know, like rightly said, the applications are in other documents. So we hope that the president are taking into cognizance all of these statistics before coming out to tell Nigerians all of this is staying. One thing I admire of him is his limitedness to the situation at hand. He never had any bogus statement, any bogus thing he was saying. He looked at the three factors affecting us: insecurity, economic growth, and youth inclusiveness. So he talked very skillfully on these issues and told us, went further to say he was in insecurity areas, he was going to do this new this thing, and that's also going to affect employment and security consciousness in our country, which was lacking. Then secondly, the provision of including youths in the economy, providing for stability. These are issues that I think it will be settled or begin to have its face or outlook when he has really seen the books before him. You say you want to do A, and when he gets into power, you begin to lack, and the people's expectations are very high, such that we begin to see the announcement that there is no money. So I think, to me, looking at his antecedents, his past level of governance in Lagos, I think he also met a similar situation in Lagos, brought in his expertise to turn in Lagos. He is a very strong and willing leader. Yeah. At the time I was in school in Lagos, I think it was AD. So to understand that you must behave like a Lagosian down to admission in school. We were asked to bring our cards. You must go into the activities of the Lagosians so that they don't have foreigners among themselves. This is one of the techniques he used. Bringing everybody, whether you're an indigenous or non-indigenous, he saw everybody as a Lagosian. And then policies started rolling out. Within twinkle of an eye, the president, who was then the governor, turned Lagos State. I was in Lagos State throughout his tenure. He did a whole lot of things, sanitized the streets, turned Agbero boys to working tools. And this is how capable the man we have today is. I want to say his body could be weak, but we saw the spirit of a president that is coming, still agile in spirit, to moving our country to the next stage. All we pray and hope is that these resources, in terms of human, in terms of financial and otherwise, should be given to him. Like you rightly also pointed out, the ability to put in rounds, squares into round holes to give us the full dividends. Again, we are having a different playground. That is, it is micro to talk about when you say Lagos. Today is going to handle a larger responsibility where it is going to be more influential by the legislation, by the judiciary. All kind of manipulations and sincere people, insincere people will be around him. Party issues will be around him. Opposition issues will be around him. Youths at national base will be around him. So all of these are challenges that I personally would have said should be studied critically, which I know he has been ready. This is not, he has said it often with no doubt that he has been ready to govern, and I am shocked to see that we are no more hearing the Luna Bala Blue again. We are now seeing the president had come out. This is the Asony. He has come out of those techniques, of those you understand what I mean? And today we saw him micromanaging Nigeria's issues into just 3, and that is the first step he's going to take.
Were you also expecting some Bulabalu?
No, I wasn't expecting.
Why not?
No, some of those things were social media.
Were social media?
Yeah, some of those things, they magnified it, you know. There was social media. The Ashiraju that we all know, he even said it, that he doesn't like going close to the social media, that they will abuse the hell out of you and all that. He said
that's true.
You know, but you see, the era of campaigns, there was a lot of pressure, you know, lack of sleep and all that, trying to meet up one state activity or the other. But that has passed. You know, he has decided, he has put himself together. I listened to him. Even yesterday, the day before yesterday, where he will stand and be talking, he doesn't even go through the prepared speech. You know, he tried to see how to set it aside, and you see him talking.
Speaking about speech, Okwori, I listened to him, and he's very beautiful. I must commend that speech that he gave when he was being inaugurated, or after the inauguration. Do you think, as beautiful as I found it, others will find it just as uniting, which is one thing that the nation needs more than anything right now? Do you think it sent that strong message of sending us or stretching the olive branch, basically, especially to the dissenting voices, those in court and all that?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. He's even stressed on that part.
Exactly.
You know, that he sees his fellow competitors as compatriots. You know, that he knows that they are aggrieved. They have gone to court, which is the lawful way to go and all that. But they can still come and then put Nigeria together and see that they put Nigeria on the right path. But I would have loved more if I saw former contestants that contested the same position with him. We had about 18 of them, right?
Yes.
Yes. If I have seen some of them in that venue where he was being inaugurated, I would have loved it more. You know, one of my interviews, not on your platform, I gave one of my suggestions how we should see how to build Nigeria. All these other contestants, they had their manifesto. You know, he has won. Bring them together. Let us see what you have in your document. You know, for somebody to stand up that he wants to contest for president of Nigeria, the person has what it takes, you know. So I expect that, I suggested that they should bring all those documents together and look at them. You know, form a committee and look at what they have. With that, add it up what you have and see how to move Nigeria to the next level. The government of national unity, don't forget that in 1979, the election of 1965, there was violence, especially in the southern west region, where they lost over 200 persons. But when it came to that election of 1979, there was no violence. Nobody died, according to the records.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Constitution.
Yes, all the parties came together and they agreed to work together. Why can't we have such a situation in this our present time?
Very possible.
If Atiku and Peter Obi were in this inauguration, it wasn't mean that they considered defeat now. You know, they would have attended the event. The matters in the court.
That would have been an interesting one to watch.
The matters in the court would have still be going on. You know, he has won now. If you come to attend the event, it doesn't mean that you have considered defeat.
It means
It doesn't mean.
the implication means you are surrounded. That's
accepting that.
Because the immigration itself is the immigration itself is bringing on board
This new administration,
which they are contesting. Yes. So, but I think where I want to support you is slightly changing the narrative. Is please, can we have all litigations ended before swearing in?
Yes.
So, if Supreme Court had
Passed the final
judgment,
yes,
you will see this color we are talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody would have said, well, they've spoken, so it's time to join government to do this thing. I think that is the president of the 1979 election.
Okay.
There were no litigations. Everybody, everything ended. Then they postponed. That was how we got 1st of October as our independent. We shifted from this thing to 1st of October because of all those issues. They showed that they finished those issues. They called for it was in fact the best unity government we've ever had. Now I'm also saying, I see what you're doing the same thing because he's learning or taking a leaf from late Enko Abiola. That would have also been the next government that would have ushered everybody on board.
Yes.
If you look at his style, the way his election went, he went across party boards. I see what you did his campaign on friends, on people that have capacity to deliver for democracy. So I am sure that he would leave those persons untouched in bringing in governance. I weep for people that will stay apart, party members that even stay outside this. Before we even talk about external people, there are some party people that even stayed outside this inauguration. And I keep asking myself, do they really mean well for Nigeria? You've lost primaries, you've run primaries with this man. He has gone ahead, won the general election.
At the top of my head when you said is the former governor of Rivers State, former minister of transportation.
A couple of them. So these are people that are really supposed to first of all bring closer their intentions and let me use your language, manifesto to the face of the man. Well, if I had won you in our primaries, these are my intentions. Could you play with this? That is party members. If you can even extend it to other presidential aspirants. And another question on board again is that we didn't even really reach out. They were. Is the APC also playing a party, a unity, this and that? And I must tell you the truth. In as much as I love him and he has emerged, nobody should have any grief against him again. But I also know that he is not also going to fold his hands and say because they are the sworn, he's going to fight it tough in
And that's what he's saying. And that despite the fight going on, the legal tussle going on, we could see that oneness, the need for everyone to come together and give the body language that we want.
In giving the body language, I would have said it should be all of them should congratulate him and still buttress the point that until the judiciary is pronounces this thing. I was going to say outside camera that I saw a tweet by Peter Obi, and I've still been analyzing it. Where actually is it going? Because it was neither here nor there.
But above all, he said Nigeria could have done better.
Good, but it means that we are better. We are okay with what we are having now. Those kind of statements, I think it's a little. I wanted to see a presidential aspirant or candidate that ran this election come out openly to say our nation has moved into a new dispensation. Thank God for the peaceful transition, but we await the proceedings of the court to even see whether they're not in attendance.
You see the same thing.
You understand?
Right.
You see the same thing. Supposing Asony, for instance, after he emerged as the winner of the election, decided to pay a courtesy call on Peter Obi in his house, Peter Obi's house, on Atiku's house, would they have turned him down?
But he didn't do that.
So that's the point. He didn't do that. But he did that at the APC party level. After he won, he went to see the likes of Amechi, all the other contestants. He went to see them. He went to their various houses to see them. I would have expected that you have extended that to this general election level.
That's correct.
Go to see these people. Yes.
But wouldn't it have been doubly embarrassing for him to be torn down? I mean, it would make news if Atiku, for instance, says, I understand your gesture of coming to see me, but I'd rather not see you right now.
Don't forget that these people are friends. Didn't you see a video where Atiku and the Asony met in the airport?
Yeah.
They are friends.
Just President Trump.
They are friends. Despite the political tussle between Buhari and Atiku Abubakar, who was Buhari's son's father when he went to marry in Kano? It was Atiku. So forget these people. What they do in the public space, they can also do. They go to pop their champagne or whatever they do behind our back.
Right.
So politicians, Nigerian politicians especially, just allow them be the way you see them.
Okay, well, let's go for a short break right now. When we return, inaugurations is over. Now what? We'll be right back to discuss more. This is still Joy Asony Live. Stay with us. Bola Tinubu has been sworn in as Nigeria's president. That's what we're discussing on Joy Asony Live now. And we have Steve Okwori. He's a security, safety and crime management consultant. We also have Comrade Alamboye, National Coordinator, Green Assembly Initiative, and the National Secretary, Nigerian Youth Organization. We've been discussing the inauguration. We've moved on from that and discussing what's next after this. Nigerians have so much expectation. I'll start with Steve Okwori right now. I mean, in the build-up of the elections, there were several. If there's anybody who was really attacked, especially on social media, it was the president. President Bola Tinubu was so attacked. Now, would you say expectations are high, or because of the many things that were said, people do not have so much expectations of him?
I want to start by saying that Bola Tinubu, I listened to him yesterday where he said Nigerians should not have pity on him. That's his statement.
That he knows what he put his hand in.
That he asked for the job.
Yes.
And he knows what is in the job. We should not have pity on him. That what it takes to deliver on that job, he has it. That's a bogus promise. For a man to stand on a pulpit or a stage to make that kind of statement to Nigerians, that we should not pity him. Now, I want to believe that the man has prepared himself for the job. Forget all those social media, Olabalu, all those things that happened, mimicking him. That's not the real him. During the campaigns, he said, what they are going into is not wrestling. It's not a 100-meter race. That it's here.
Even after saying that, we saw him on a treadmill. But go ahead.
But in order to prove that it is not that is very fit, very fit and equal to the fact to take the job. Today we are in front of where in the studio. I don't want to begin to say on a very serious note. The man is equal to the tax.
Okay, if I be coming on that question, so much is not expected from President Asiwaju. People are still in the euphoria of the thoughts of he didn't win the election. We have 8,000 voters. Atiku came up with a
7
Tinubu was 8 points.
No. I mean, Atiku came up with a 6 points something million voters. We have the Peter Obi also 6 point something. Yeah. About 12 point something million Nigerians are still in the thoughts of he didn't win the election. So, greater percentage of our country's populace they've removed themselves from what is happening today. So therefore, you see today is like a party affairs. Do they think that about 28 states, right, are also doing the same immigration?
18 states.
18 states. So it has taken the attention of even national politicians off. Now, what rather I feel is that the new president needs to showcase to Nigerians that there can be more confidence in governance. That what his parties have done in 8 years, it can improve on them. That look, we have to drop our swords and move into governance. And that is one area he called to say, let us reunite ourselves to move our nation forward. So therefore, what is expected of him is to start kicking the ball right from the whistle is blown. I was asking you there off camera, I said, so it means tomorrow he will resume work. And I also told you that normally,
they resumed already.
Normally, today,
he has made appointments.
Yeah.
Today is appointment.
He has made appointments now.
Which appointment?
The presidential spokesman. He has announced that.
Good. I was telling you that.
Announced the state chief protocol.
Today.
And he has announced the essay on digital media.
Today.
Yes.
Today. Today we would have seen the president even announce the secretary to the federation. Today. That would have sprung lots of surprise everywhere. I was telling her, I didn't even know he had made, these are aides, he has appointed his aides. But what I'm saying is that Nigerians are just waiting to see, okay, let's see what will come of him. So I think expectations are very low, but he needs to now begin to draw the attention of people with good appointments, ministerial appointments, and then it should invite non-interference. I personally have been a little bit angry with his involvements in the legislation. He shouldn't do that, because these are the perception people will begin to have, and then to say, oh, and it gives them more divisibility, and then they may not be able to come together to do what they do. So I think, if I could answer that question, Joy, I think the expectations are low. What Nigerians want in the country is very high, but the mandates we've seen at the end of affairs today, people are not really hodging yet until the tribunals will begin to pronounce their statement. But in as much as the tribunals are ruling, if we see him begin to toe the areas, I'm very impressed. The first thing, I have not reacted as a youth leader in the country to his statements. I'm very glad that he was able to cool Nigeria's problem into 3, and they are all compatible. You rightly said the applications and another documents. We want to quickly see him rolling out those activities, so that people, tensions from people, and people distrust, or people not having confidence on him, will begin to drop even as the tribunals are going on. I think that's my own opinion about the expectations. People are not really agreeing. You can see even the social media we're talking about. I'm not talking so much about the immigrations of today, and that is because about 12 million Nigerians are still feeling that It's a mandate that was stolen.
Before we move forward, I would like you to just quickly tell us what that portends for his administration when it comes to opposition. Would they keep him on his toes? Would you see that kind of opposition, or after the whole fray of elections, we are going to see more opposition relax until when it's election time again, and then you see voices and talks about how his administration went?
Do we really have opposition as it stands in Nigeria?
No.
We don't have opposition.
Well, this is APC.
The Labour Party is not an opposition at all, if you ask me. The Labour Party does not have, they don't have, there was only a movement. They only have sympathizers.
Yes.
You know, they are not
proper opposition.
People that will begin to, they are not. So if you ask me, there's no any serious opposition now. There's no serious opposition. And there's Nigerian politicians, but the oppositions can be bought, you know.
I don't know that.
Stomach infrastructure. You want to begin to talk too much, they buy you over.
Is that what's going to happen in this administration, you foresee?
No, I'm not foreseeing that. I'm not telling you generally about the politics of Nigeria, you know. We are seeing people in opposition. The moment they begin to bite, they give them one upon another, the next thing will go down. You know,
they go from they want to kill me to this government hasn't been so bad after all.
Okay, if I want to come in this
and
way.
I would like you to come in knowing, putting in mind that you represent the youth constituency, youth who seemed most aggrieved by a lot of outcomes. So I would like you to come in as to how it is going to be a stronger opposition.
I was going to say, thank you very much for even bringing it to that aspect. I was going to say that the opposition, you will see, will be that agitations from youths. Yeah, you're right when you say there's no political opposition. They are weak, but again, they are Siwaju we know. He will not give chance for that kind of a thing. Whatever he says, he will do. And I'm seeing the president for the first time that will even surpass. I did a statement earlier on that he's having that spirit of late MQ Abiola, the ability to say something and hook by it. And Asiwaju also knows that he was undermined amongst the three candidates that ran predominantly, that ran the election. He was the most undermined. So he has a lot to prove to Nigerians. So I'm seeing him bringing out even before you could say he has done it, sort of administration, an administration that is going to run marathon in their spate of development policy enactments, executions of projects, hitting the people's needs and wants, if I may say, at a particular time. That is what he is going to do. But I see agitations will be coming up from the angle of the youth, because vast majority of Nigerian youths are not really in connection with the government. So his ability to quickly put things in place that will bring them closer and to feel the benefits of governance will shave out that pressure he will be receiving. Because any mistake this administration does now will be how they call it, will be hyped as fast as, even faster than the one.
Well, you don't seem to believe it will be hyped at all. Do you see that kind of hype? Oh, this government has made a mistake, we're going to, you have to withdraw that, we'll have a town hall meeting to discuss it, petition the government on. Are you going to see all of that?
Even if just all of that comes, I think is
surmountable. Yeah.
It's surmountable, and it's even if you ask me, it's even a welcome development. It's a way to put the government, you know.
Right.
Yes. I was going to say that in the area of my profession, when security chiefs go to the ones that you appoint subsequently, if they go to give him briefs, he should not just rely on those briefs that he come to give him. At intervals, maybe quarterly or whatever, he should have something like a security summit, you know, where people from the outside,
people like you,
yes, people like me, other people like him, traditional rulers, religious leaders, they come. These ones, they will look at him eyeball to eyeball, tell him that, Your Excellency, this is what is happening.
Right.
Service chiefs and national security advisors, if they go to see him, they will tell you what he wants to hear to keep their job. So, in order for him to know the true reflection of what is happening, at intervals, he should be having these meetings, especially in the area of security challenges that we expect.
Now, during the inauguration, he also made mention, I mean, he spoke to what he would do in terms of security. He said he was not only going to increase the boots on the ground, but he's also going to increase pay and welfare. Do you think that would solve our problems?
It goes to add to it. You and I know that we have over 200 million Nigerians. For the police alone, we're talking about police, their activities is to see how to handle internal security issues. We have less 400,000 police officers. By the time we want to begin to take out the numbers that are policing our public servants, dignitaries, politicians, and all that, you discover that the one that is left to police you and I will be very meager. So increasing the number, it's very significant thing that he needs to do. He needs to increase the number. The outgoing government said they did like 20,000, which is very small. Beyond that, he talked about technology as well. There's a lot that technology does now. You know, in this 21st century, there's a lot that technology does. You have to bring in technology, sophisticated technology, to see how to improve on our insecurity issues. Training and retraining of personnel, it's very key. We take trainings for granted. Even personnel, they just go collect their GTEs and just leave. They don't even attend these trainings. They need to be monitored to see that they attend these trainings. There's a lot that is on the ground. Then appointments in that sector needs to be professional. Politics should be set aside. Look at CVs of people that you want to appoint as service chiefs and police IG and the likes. Look at their CVs. Let their CVs, their profession, let it speak for them. With that, we can get somewhere.
Right.
Then, in appointing them, it should not be like what the last government did. Virtually all the security heads from one region, one religion, and all that, and you want to get results. It can't work like that. So you should see that his appointment cuts across all the 6 geopolitical regions that we have. So that's my advice for that.
Okay. And what would be your advice, being a youth? You just talked about stakeholders having this one-on-one meeting where they're looking in the eye. Is that one of the things you believe will solve security issues?
Yes, and one of the security issues, I agree to that. I agree to the submission. That is an expert in that area. If I want to talk about youth inclusiveness, I'm one of the persons that are advocating for a youth council, a youth commission, rather. Placing the youths under the Ministry of Youth and Sport is seemingly limiting the benefits youth would have been deriving from past and this present government. I want to see the president, is part of the submission we're going to have. We want to see a youth commission where it is basically for youth activisms, like employments are going around each ministries. We are not able to collectively brought to a spreadsheet where you have data of youths, and then you already know the ones that are ready made. So, for instance, the Ministry of Transport, they're employing at what field are they employing? If the commission is there, you send these things to the commission. The commission will rule out qualified persons. These are the ways that youth will really be meaningful and be part of what is happening. Not this one is doing employment. Then there are so many things. I kept saying, where are the presidential corps? Where are those things that brought youth together that they forget about? The vices they go into. Where are the presidential corps, governorship corps? Where are the annual games that we do in this country? All in 8 years, we didn't see one happen. So you see the Ministry of Youth and Sports concentrating on sending on flying eagles and queen eagles and all of that, leaving the core basis of that ministry, to dormancy. So we want to have a youth commission where we will be deliberate to add the statistics of youth in our country. I don't know what age to cut across, the professional qualifications of youth, the ones that are working, the ones that are not working. So the president at hand will know that in this country, the future, who are the youths, the employable and employability and all of that, at a spread he gets to know that and know area. What are the strengths? Do we have more engineers in this country? Do we have more lawyers? Do we have more medical students? Yeah. If you know that, you know where to even invest, and then you would have taken chunk of Nigerian youth into employment.
Yes. Okay. So I think this is the majority of the youth constitutes these perpetrators of
crime. Yes, crime. I'm talking about exactly.
Without having you, they can be arrested.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
there's no knowledge. Sorry, there's no knowledge on this. If I mean, nobody have knowledge on this. It's only a youth commission that can confidently articulate all of this, and on a spread, the president can know where to invest to get its
Okwori, a lot of people have been very concerned about the composition of his cabinet. Would it be that of unity or competence? That's the conversation that has been rife on people's minds lately. However, would you see that youthful stance when it comes to the composition? Because the list we've been seeing, whether true or not, has been yes, several. There are social media. We've been seeing several lists. That has not been confirmed. Flying, literally flying.
Once is even the minister.
Yes, I wasn't mentioned there. I should be, but I wasn't. However, do you say we are going to see the same old?
You know, considering his age, he's 71 according to the official pronouncement. Yeah.
I don't know if you have an unofficial age.
No, that's his official age now. I'm not saying
you were emphasizing on it. I'm a journalist. I also want to know.
No. I said according to the official.
According to his age would have been what you would say, and then move on. Steve.
He's 71. Yes. Okay. Of course, you want to see some persons around his contemporaries.
Right. Yeah. That's natural.
That's natural. You definitely see all that. But the kind of person that he is, even in Lagos, that you have governors there, young people that he breed, you know, that came through his school of his political school. You see that they are young people. Even the governor of Lagos has boys 34, 35 as commissioners in that state. Yes. And you don't expect that those young boys will emerge as commissioners without him having knowledge about them. So I think it's going to be a mixture of both the old and the young. And he knows where to fix the old, and he knows where to fix the young.
Right.
You know, looking at him, he knows what to do. He knows where to fix the old and knows where to fix the young. And the young, if you ask me, will be people that have what it takes to serve in whatever portfolio or position they are given.
Okay. Well, he just announced the appointment of advisor on digital media. He's a very young guy. He's quite young. Does that give you some inclination that we will see?
Very hopeful because it's a digital world, and then that means that the president wants to encourage a digital economy. Someone that's going to be advising on digital as a youth, it means that he has the expertise and he has the age. So we are going to see. My fear is we've seen the old politicians rally around him more.
Right.
So, but I think, like you rightly said, if you look at his antecedent from Lagos, he used young men as commissioners. So we think he's going to reciprocate that.
Gentlemen, it's been a beautiful time spending with you here, where you talk about what to expect. Well, Asiwaju is our president.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of the program.
Thank you.
I've had Steve Okwori, Security, Safety and Crime Management Consultant. I've also had Comrade Duke Alamboye, National Secretary, Nigerian Youth Organization, and the National Coordinator, Green Assembly Initiative. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Do have a wonderful evening.